After the abstract heights of Plato's cave, we must descend back to earth to meet the man who organized the world, Aristotle. If Plato was the philosopher of the beyond, Aristotle was the philosopher of the between. He realized that the greatest tragedy of the human condition is our tendency to live in extremes. We are either paralyzed by cowardice or blinded by recklessness. We are either stingy or we throw our wealth away in wasteful indulgence. Aristotle's blueprint for a life well lived is centered on the golden mean. This is the revolutionary idea that virtue is not a fixed point, but a dynamic balance located precisely between two vices, the vice of deficiency and the vice of excess. Courage exists between fear and rashness. Honesty lies between blunt cruelty and deceptive silence. Patience sits between passivity and explosive anger. The mean is not mediocrity. It is precision. To be courageous, you must find the middle ground between being a coward and being a foolhardy hothead. To be generous, you must navigate the narrow path between being a miser and a spendthrift. To be confident, you must stand between insecurity and arrogance. Aristotle saw character not as a personality trait, but as a practice, something shaped, refined, and strengthened over time. He taught that virtue is not something you are born with. It is a hexis, a stable disposition developed through habit. You do not become brave by reading about bravery. You become brave by doing brave things until bravery becomes your default setting. You do not become disciplined by motivation, but by repetition. Small actions repeated consistently sculpt identity. This is the ethics of excellence. You become what you repeatedly do. This insight changes how we think about self-improvement. Modern culture searches for dramatic breakthroughs, life hacks, transformations, reinventions. Aristotle offers something quieter but far more powerful: calibration. Excellence is not intensity. It is accuracy. It is the ability to adjust yourself again and again toward the right measure. In today's context, the golden mean becomes a survival skill for a polarized world. We live in an era of digital amplification where extremes are rewarded. Outrage travels faster than nuance. Certainty performs better than curiosity. The smartest man can fall into cynical nihilism, while the happiest man can drift into shallow optimism that denies reality. Both are imbalances. Both miss the mark. Aristotle invites us to exit this cave of extremes. He tells us that the goal of life is eudaimonia, often translated as happiness, but closer to human flourishing, living in alignment with your highest capacities. Flourishing is not a mood. It is not a peak moment. It is a pattern of activity over a lifetime. Think of the archer. There are infinite ways to miss the target, but only one way to hit the center. The mean is that center. It requires awareness, feedback, and adjustment. Some days you correct excess. Other days you correct deficiency. The practice never ends, and that is the point. This perspective turns life into craftsmanship. Your reactions become brushstrokes. Your habits become structure. Your choices become composition. Character is not discovered. It is designed. So this video is not just about Aristotle's philosophy. It is about using his map to audit your own character. Where are you living in excess? Where are you holding back? Where does fear disguise itself as caution? Where does impulse disguise itself as authenticity? The questions matter more than the labels, because awareness is the beginning of balance. By finding the mean, you are not becoming moderate in the dull sense. You are becoming precise. You are becoming reliable. You are becoming someone who can act well across different situations, which is Aristotle as definition of excellence. The golden mean is the secret to a balanced soul in an unbalanced world. It reminds us that the best version of yourself is rarely found in dramatic reinvention, but in the quiet, daily calibration of your choices. Not perfection, alignment. Not extremes, mastery. To follow Aristotle is to accept that virtue is an art form practiced in real time. You will overshoot. You will undershoot. But with attention and habit, you get closer. Over months, then years, the distance shrinks. The person you are becoming begins to stabilize. And that is the deeper promise of the mean. Not control over life, but coherence within yourself. A character that holds. A direction that makes sense. A life that feels intentionally shaped rather than accidentally lived. Virtue, then, is not a rule book. It is a skill. Balance is not passive. It is active. Excellence is not rare. It is practiced. You are not searching for a new self. You are tuning the one you already have. To walk with Aristotle is to realize that you are both the sculptor and the marble, and that every day, through repeated choices, the form becomes clearer.